welcome to NACL, the American Champions. My name is Maxman, and today we're going to have an absolutely awesome match. It's going to be Child Play up against Tribe Gaming. The hype is real. And for this match, I'm going to be joined by the one and only Day Nomine. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing A-OK, Max. How about you? It is quite late over in your neck of the woods, so hopefully we can clean this one up quick for you.
Yeah, it's around 3 a.m. right now, so we're going to have to go quite fast. And it might go really fast because we have Child Play up against Tribe, two very, very powerful teams. You guys all know Tribe's the world champion of Vainglory in 2017. So the hype is real for this match. We're going to have to see what's going to be ongoing. Just going to wait for the draft to start any second now. And what are you expecting to see into this game, Delmine? Because these teams have been showing a lot of meta plays in draft in many ways. So what do you expect to come out into this game?
I definitely think we're going to see a 100% across the board priority on the Taka and Kroll bands for this matchup, at least. Typically between these two teams, we will see the top laner run that more tanky kind of bruiser role, something like the Rona. Gabe Isley even runs that top Catherine. Something that's really a bully, just in your face, low cooldowns, able to spam the aftershocks out, and or like the Rona, just all out brawler, building up the breaking point stacks in seconds in these 5v5 matchups. So I do think those, while they are a little bit more of the silent roles, they can play a massive impact on these fights.
Yeah, that's very true. We're going to have to see if that does indeed come out. Looks like we're going to have a little problem for draft. I just went to actually get the pro draft under our eyes because you didn't have the right one right now. So in 3.1, right, there are many powerful heroes. I would be expecting to see a Varia coming out. I am a European player, and I know Varia is highly, highly focused on in this NA server. So I would be really intrigued to see a Varia coming out into this game. I'm just going to be waiting. Unfortunately, have a little bit of a delay for the draft, everyone. Sorry for that. We'll have to see. In these games, I don't know if you followed these games in NACL. Who do you expect to take the win before the draft even comes out? Day.
Well, it's kind of hard to say. In past 5v5 history, competitive that we've seen, Child's Play was able to overcome Tribe. However, the games were very, very close, and I would even go as far as to say Chuck Celeste is incredibly, incredibly scary, and it seems we have him on that pick right now. So we'll have to see if he's able to get into that late game phase that he was last time around. And if that is the case, then I do think that Chuck specifically will be able to zone out this Vox very heavily.
We're going to have to see indeed if that's going to happen. So we did have the draft then come out. We have a Cruel, Taka, Chunwalker, and Reza Ban coming out on both sides. So those are two heroes heavily focused in this 3.1 patch of 5v5 Vainglory. So not surprised in any way. I'm going to see them actually go on the rise. So we're going to have as a mid laner, then we're going to have the Celeste. So this Celeste pickup is absolutely huge. I think even one of the best mid laners so far in this 3.1 patch. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. But against the Samuel, Vox, and Kestrel, I think this Celeste might actually have a really hard time into this game.
All right, now that I have the updated draft link, I'm a little bit more caught up. So we do see the Glaive band away here. And what's interesting is we actually have the Rona and the Blackfeather picked up here. And typically those are two heroes that we see Big Paws run, which would be kind of those upfront, bruisey kind of melee heroes. Now, we have both on that side, so I'm interested to see which one Paws gets his hand on. Obviously, Rona, one of the big number one counters for the Blackfeather, so having them both, this will allow Blackfeather that ability. He can get into that backline, he can get the damage onto what will likely be this Crystal Kestrel and prevent her from going invis using that active camo. So it's going to really be heavy on the on points as well as the heliogenesis to try kind of control the fight for the side of Child's Play.
Yeah, they got a lot of zoning, as you did just mention, for Child Play there. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to be going on this game. And now we're going to be having that Koshka jungle pickup on the side of Tribe. So Koshka is one of those heroes that was extremely powerful when 5-5 came out. It's still extremely powerful, but still is unfortunately a little bit forgotten against those Tony, Glaive, Grumshaw pickups. So seeing her played here is very interesting because you're going to be playing up against a Celeste. So if she's able to dive and get the first kill in any fight, that's going to give a huge lead to the side of Tribe. And we're going to be seeing this draft closed up with a dual pickup that's just an absolutely awesome hero to have on your side if you want to take down those objectives and those turrets. So like so far the draft is very even on both sides, but Dominate, tell me, which team would you give it to this game number one, like overall with this draft?
It's actually kind of hard to call. So it looks like we're going to have the Captain Tony here for the side of Child's Play. At least that's what I'm going to assume out of these picks. But looking at Child's Play draft, they are playing very heavily that hyper carry Celeste, one best Chuck to rule them all. So we'll have to see how that works out for them. It is a little concerning that they're really setting themselves up for a lot of splash damage coming out of Samuel. Those Empowered Malice and Verdicts are going to be hitting a lot of members of the side of Child's Play. But with the way the draft has gone, I'm actually leaning towards this is probably going to be Dienzio on Kestrel as a weapon power laner, not the Crystal hero that I expected to see her early on in the draft. She's one of those heroes in the solo queues right now that is just an absolute nightmare. Usually gets banned away. So with the Samuel and Koshka already picked up, don't see it being a Crystal Kestrel.
Yeah, like Kestrel is a very good flex pick, but indeed we might see it in that role you just mentioned. And now we are slowly entering the Sovereign's Rise. We're going to have to see which of both teams, Child Play up against Tribe, will take the victory. This is a BO1 as a reminder on an ACL. So the team who takes this win will go home with the victory. And like we're gonna have to see. And so far, I'm gonna have to give the draft over to the side of Child Play because I really enjoyed their very tanky comp that they have on their side, and having Chuck with that Celestis, as I mentioned earlier, one of the best mid laners. You're gonna have that Dragon's Eye built up. That's just gonna allow you to stack really easily. But unfortunately, so far you have Vox, Samuel, and Kestrel are going to be extremely far from the action, just sniping from afar. So it's going to be a really hard place to be for that Celeste to actually deal damage onto them. So we're going to have to see how this patches off. But anyway, we are now onto the Sovereign's Rise for this game number one of Tribe up against Child Play.
Yeah, and it does look like we are going to get the Crystal Kestrel. I Love Joseph has that pick in his hands. 2 crystal bits to start, and it's going to be Gabe Vizzle in the top lane with the Koshka. Probably going to be a very similar build to what we see him run his Taka and his Black Feather up in the top lane, where he's going to get that Storm Crown Aftershock early start. Very tanky as well, likely going to build a Metal Jacket early on. But, should be really exciting matchup here. Obviously, this is kind of the top of what we expect to see in Vainglory for North America is Tribe versus Child's Play right now.
Yeah, it's a very awesome matchup to be actually able to watch today on NACL. And like we see a lot of pressure already applied into this mid lane. We do know that since last update, the minion waves do actually spawn earlier before the actual jungle camps get spawned. So just applying pressure onto the lane before doing a jungle rotation is very smart on both sides. But it looks like Tribe is going to be having the little bit of an upper hand, sealing the jungle of Child Play. And so far, it looks like this is going to be happening on both sides. Daniel and Carl's going a little bit too far there, as you have Max Green, Game Fizzle, and Old School just going to be denying Daniel's invade, and they're going to be taking that Crystal Chin from their self.
And Tribe, they're going to get both of those Crystal Treants. Actually, Old School was able to take the one away from the Child's Play jungle, so definitely a good start right now, forming for Tribe, picking up those buffs. Meanwhile, sitting up in the top lane, we do have Daniel is going to be on this Rona, and Kaz, he's going to be running down into the jungle on a Crystal Blackfeather, which we don't see a ton of Crystal Blackfeather, so it should be fun to watch that one out. Again, still going very durable, tanky front line, and just allowing Chuck to be that hyper carry. Mid to late game Celeste can almost essentially 1v5 a team fight.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, Celeste extremely powerful in the 3.1 patch. I'd like to talk real quick about the CP Blackfeather you did just mention. And looks like we're going to have Cos maybe ganking onto this mid lane to have a 3-3 situation. They're just going to... Like, the siege potential right now on the side of Tribe is absolutely huge. And my screen lag because I am from EU and I do not know what's going on. Okay, I'm back on course. So, like, this CP Blackfeather, you're playing up against a very squishy comp. You have a Samuel, Vox, Kestrel. So when Blackfeather is going to be having that level 8, he's going to be dealing a huge amount of damage in poke, and he's going to be able to stay fairly far away from the poke potential they have. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to be playing that. But I really enjoy this CP Blackfeather pickup because it's extremely smart in this draft.
It seems a little interesting to me. I do like the fact that the range from his on point will be able to kind of hit into that back line and do some good burst damage. But at the same time, with only one melee hero, and that's going to be the Kashka, Gabe Bizzle, who's also going to be running a very tanky Aftershock spam build, it feels to me like the on points, they're never really going to be able to have a good opportunity to hit multiple targets. It does look like we've had a little bit of a trade-off here down in the bottom. Dienzio and Hammy trading out a little bit of damage back and forth. Still no kills on the board, though, so not horribly aggressive rotations out of either of these two teams yet. Chuck does get his buff this time around. Here we go.
Ooh, Old School gets stunned out by the Core Collapse, and that's going to be a dead Old School right there. That's going to be the first blood going over to child player right there. So that's going to be a nice first kill. And looks like Gabe Bizzle on Max Green was trying to get a little bit on the offensive side, engaging into the enemy jungle. Daniel going quite low, but going to be knowing his limits, going to be calling their game. It looks like he's going to anyway look for the engagement down onto this Lara, onto Max Green, but he's going to be knowing his limits once again and just back off for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tribe, they were able to take away the Treants there on that early rotation, but it's Child's Play answering with a kill of their own, evening things up for the most part. Gold basically dead even right now. I'm interested to see Dienzio here on the Vox, though. He's been playing a lot of the Vox, as well as it's just historically a Dienzio pick up against the Jewel in the bottom lane, while Jewel can be very tanky to the front. If there's a point where Dienzio starts winning out on trade and Hammy turns his back, there is a lot of damage that this Vox is going to be able to put out. He's gone back, picked up that Poison Shiv, and Kaz dangerously low here in the mid lane, but he's going to make it out.
Yeah, they did take a lot of damage there. Dashed out by of Joseph with those glimmer shots. And like so far, you did see Old School and I Love Joseph. They were doing a very nice siege comp. You're already 5 minutes in the first turret, taking already 1/3 HP down. So it's very interesting to see how they're going to be playing in these fights, because the siege potential on the side of Tribe is absolutely huge, because they also got the sustain factor from Max Green with that Lyra. And they're just going to be able to hold positions and hold it for an extremely long amount of time. So that's what you're gonna see coming out also from Child Play. They're gonna have to dive and try and burst them down as fast as possible. And if that doesn't happen, unfortunately, like the stacking potential also on the side of Tribe is just gonna be making them win most of those fights. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how these players are gonna be winning those fights. We're starting to have a little bit of fight into this bottom jungle, but it's not gonna be going that far for now. Oh. Also into the mid lane, they do have a lot of siege potential coming out from Max Green, I Left Joseph, and Old School. They have Shaded Talent trying to be a part of this. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do much so far. He's going to know his limit, just go a little bit back off. And now, like so far, the game is extremely passive. We're only 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. Only 1 kill over to Child Play, and the gold advantage is really evened out. So no team has really taken the advantage. You do have that Solar Storm going through, missing the spot. And like so far, both teams are like really evened out. We do not know who can take the win. And you do see a lot of rotation coming out from this Tony. Unfortunately, he's not being that useful as he didn't score that many kills. You do see a little bit of a fight into this spot jungle. Shaded Talent trying to take the Crystal Chin for his own. But unfortunately, Old School, I Love Joseph, and Max Green are going to be securing that objective for themselves. One shot, one kill coming down, connecting onto Shaded Talent, but is going to be activating his passive Come At Me. So not going to be taking that much damage right there. I think we maybe lost Domine on this, unfortunately. So gonna have to keep on the solo casting. So now, like 7 minutes in, we're gonna have to try and see the side of Childplay, trying to take a little bit more of an advantage. Unfortunately, if they do not do that right now, they're going to be losing quite a good lead. Don't know for Denominator, are you back with us?
I am back. I was coughing. Sorry about that, Max.
No problem.
One key power spike here we have to look at for Child's Play is going to be looking over at Shaded Talent. He has his ultimate online hitting level 6, and the just ability to separate a team fight at will, or to even just to use it as a disengage. You aim it correctly, you can just knock a whole enemy team back. So Shaded Talent, he's really going to be one of the key players to watch here for the side of Child's Play, and he needs to maximize the effect on Tony. He has the stun. He has the ability to make the enemy target him, which is incredibly, incredibly smart to run it as a captain at this point. They don't need it as that real bruiser heavy hero, but
Solar Storm ripping through onto Olaf Joseph, pinning fairly low. But you have the NG there coming out of the dog, going to be engaged right off the bat onto Chuck. You have a nice core collapse connecting, and that's going to be the end with that heliogenesis of the NJ going down in the blink of an eye. Now Max Green going to be healing up his team to try and keep that siege comp up and effective. But so far, Chuck is doing an awesome job with those Holy Novas. No, with heliogenesis, sorry.
Yeah, Chuck doing a fantastic job, and like I said, that's really one of the heroes he's been known for, at least in the past, before the Baron. But now he's getting back into the Celeste shoes, and he's really made a good name for himself on this hero. They're now sitting up 3-0. They've taken down a turret as well. They're sitting up only about 1.5k right now, but definitely that edge is starting to build a little bit for Child's Play. I do think Tribe should be able to take this first turret. Here comes Hammy.
Hammy going to be jumping right onto Old School, going to be missing, unfortunately, that stun. And now Max Green a little bit too slow to get out of the grip of Hammy. Just going to try and get the help now of Isle of Joseph with those glimmer shots. Unfortunately, Hammy's just still hitting really hard, but it's not going to be enough to take down or Max Green or Old School. Just going to be able to back off fairly fast. And like as you said, like 3-0 so far, the gap is still widening fairly slowly, but still in favor of Child Play. So going to have to see a change coming out from Tribe if they want to try and take this win.
Yeah, absolutely, Max. And it does look like Child's Play, they're keeping the pressure up here in the mid lane, looking for that turret.
Turret going fairly low. Are they going to be able to take it down? Yes, the heliogenesis going up into a Nova will be securing that first mid lane turret. One strong kill does connect onto Chuck, putting him to mid HP, and the red mist going wild. That's going to be Yummy Cannon Frenzy going wild with the block a little bit too late for Daniel. That's going to be one kill and first kill going over to Tribe. And now the zoning from Chuck is coming in useful. He's doing a really fairly good job there. You have that jump onto Olaf Joseph, going to be getting out of the CC. Unfortunately, look at the damage potential from Car's going to be picking up a kill, and so will Hammy. And now DNG trying to get out of the grip, going to be using the block to get out of the core collapse. Will be working indeed. A Bizzle, big red button going wild. DNG again out of that ability just in time, and that's going to be an almost dead Gabe Bizzle with the nicely timed block, and he's going to be able to survive another day. And look at that, like that's where you see the power of Celeste. It's so good at zoning enemy heroes. You just have to, you can't ignore that hero.
I keep telling everybody Celeste is the true pick for 3.1. Nobody believes it, but Chuck out here showing the world right now that is the case. They have taken a pretty substantial advantage as far as objective goes now, getting the first 2 turrets down uncontested. They're sitting up 5-1. They have a gold lead. In fact, Chuck, he's finished 2 tier 3 items. And Old School is struggling to get the clockwork online on the Samuel right now. As well as sitting a level behind, actually, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. He is quite behind there, so he's going to have to try and backtrack all that advantage. And as you see, like, looks like they might be trying to have an engagement into this bottom jungle. We do have a 3-3 situation, but they're not going to be looking for it quite yet. And we're going to have to see, like, Tribe have to try and push this first mid lane turret, because otherwise they're going to lose a very good advantage, as we do see Carl's engagement a little bit onto Max Green, and those on point are starting to do a fair amount of damage. They're going to have to start paying attention to Carl's, otherwise he's going to be an absolute monster into these team fights.
Yeah, absolutely is going to be the case. Hammy is trying to get this bottom lane pushed now, or evened out now. That is the first line of turrets left for Tribe. So they definitely want to hang on to that if they can. Good Thunderstrike by Hammy, but Dienzio, we were just talking about Chuck having a little bit of a lead in the mid lane. Dienzio, he's got the lead building for himself down here in the bottom lane. Solar Storm, it's going to clip. Maybe not the maximum effect Chuck was looking for. Just trying to keep the pressure up at this point. Got a lot of power spikes completed here. Kaz with the Aftershock and the Broken Myth. Daniel with the Serpent's Mask and the Breaking Point. Meanwhile, looking over at the side of Tribe, they are just struggling a little bit to get to their full spikes. Old School almost dropping there.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do have Hammy now. Where's that turret Monocle? As we do see, there's engagement in every single lane, and as we see now into the bot lane, we do have a situation. Dienzio up against Hammy with that duel. Unfortunately, it looks like Hammy is just going to drop out of that fight. We do have Chuck rotating over. He does have the zoning potential. The core collapse available if ever they want to engage it, but unfortunately, Dienzio, knowing his limits, just going to be backing it off for now. And looks like they're going to have a little bit of a fight. They are 4 teammates together on the side of Child Play. They're just going to back off. They know they cannot deal in any damage into their jungle, so they're just going to have to back off for the time being. Top lane, you have then Daniel up against Gabe Vizzle. Not doing much into the fray. Gabe Vizzle going up against Daniel. Not going to be able to get right onto this Koshko. He's moving way too fast for him. Where's his passive? And just fights everywhere, but unfortunately no kills dropping off right now.
Yeah, but a bot turret did go over to Hammy and Kaz was even able to snipe away that weapon buff using that on point. So getting a little bit of an advantage now, because that will give him, even though it is a Crystal Blackfeather and he is not going to be doing a lot of weapon damage, that slow is incredibly potent, especially for catching one of those slippery backline heroes like a Vox. So interested to see if Kaz is able to make the maximum effect out of that one. Those Helios are just zoning so good right now.
Yeah, the zoning, Chuck has just been down those Heliogenesis and is just avoiding trying actually engaging onto them. And then it allows also their front lane with the Tony, the Ronan, the Blackfeathers to actually start diving onto them. Do you see a little bit of start of the fight? Solar Storm going to be ripping through. Pin already! ILFJ's is extremely low. And now they're going to have to try and back off, but the sustain from Max Green is just going to allow ILFJ's to come back off that bad situation. And looks like Old School wants to be a little bit more aggressive here, trying to zone out with those Malice and Verdicts and the empowered power of that actually just in dark. 1-1 kill going to be coming out. Chuck does take that damage to the face. Only 1/3 HP still. Going to have to try and pay attention. We do have a sneaky Gabe Vizzle doing a nice split push onto this top lane. Should be able to take the first turret onto the top lane, but Daniel doesn't want to see that actually happening. Unfortunately, Gabe Vizzle did take down that first turret. Now it's going to be a 1-to-1 situation, but Kaz wants to be a part of this. He's going to be going down onto Gabe Vizzle. Does use the Rose offensive. Vein of Heart, unfortunately, Gabe Vizzle going to be using a block, but that should not be enough. Going to be using a block and a healing fast, but it will not be enough to save him from his fate. That's going to be another kill going over to Child Play.
Yeah, you are absolutely on point there. First turret was picked up by the side of Tribe, though, so they have to be loving that little bit of a gold infusion. The rest of the lanes have just really not been looking too good for the side of Tribe right now. We do have I Love Joseph. He's being quite sneaky on this Kestrel, but unfortunately just the zoning that's coming from Chuck makes it very, very difficult for him to do anything about it. Do have Ghostwing.
Ghostwing was secured by Child Play indeed. Now do you have that Bada Boom? Going to be missing out off the mark for this Tony. And now they're trying to get the stun. Does get the stun there with his A. Now Max Green going to try and help out his team with the sustain. Look at that. They're fairly low on the side of Child Play. This is maybe a comeback, but unfortunately the engagement by Ham is absolutely huge. With the Solar Storm ripping through, we'll be able to secure another kill on I Love Joseph. That's 3-man down on the side of Tribe and 1-man down on the side of Child Play. Looks like they're going to try and hold on to this second mid lane turret. You do have now Hammy and Daniel just going to be coming and rotating absolutely perfectly, able to take down this Samuel, to take down Old School. And now they're going to have to try and push this choke point turret into the mid lane. If they do so, this is going to be absolutely huge on the side of Child Play. But Gabe Vizzle want to try and avoid that as much as possible, but unfortunately he will not be able to do so. And that's going to be choke point turret into the mid lane, secured on the side of Child Play.
Yeah, and even with the barrier starting to regenerate, they were able to take it down. The massive damage spike coming out of both the Celeste and the Jewel, able to just get right through that. Hammy is actually, typically we see the Sorrow Blade first on the Jewel. I did want to make note that he has gone Serpent's Mask, looking just to be a really tanky frontline heal up off of those Thunder Strikes and basic attacks. So a little bit of an interesting build path for the Jewel. It's working out for them well so far, though, as Hammy is sitting at 3-0-3 and maintaining his bottom lane right now. Just trying to clean up these last hits so him and Kaz can get some beautiful gold to go buy with. As Hammy's got about 1,000 in pocket, got that second monocle online. Gabe Vizzle, Aftershock, Stormcrown. This Koshka is just not having the effect that I think he was hoping for. He's getting forced out of the front line so quickly that it just takes him out of the fight.
Ooh, nice Solar Storm coming out from Chalk, ripping absolutely through the team of Tribe. Now they're going to have to try and back out and wait for the sustain of Max Green to actually make effect, so they can try and pick a next fight. But looks like we're going to have Child Play going for a very sneaky Black Claw right now. They do not have any vision on it whatsoever. So they absolutely have no idea on the side of Tribe. It looks like they're going to be guessing, and it will be a little bit too late to actually try and steal it, as Black Claw did get secured on the side of Child Play. And now they're going to have to try and do a 5-man push. They did take down the choke point turret. They do have now an open and available armory to take down. So if they're able to take down, this might be actually the win on this last move. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going on. Black Claw now arriving. Solar Storm going to be ripping through with that big red button, almost taken down. I Love Joseph on that casual battle boom, going to be connected. I Love Joseph going fairly low, but that was a nicely timed healing cross, able to save his life right there. Now Daniel's taking a lot of damage. Unfortunately, he's going to be jumping right in. And look at the damage of Hammy on the Thunderstrike. He's going to be able to secure 2 kills with 1 Thunderstrike. Doing an absolutely awesome job. That's the god plays of Hammy. And now Oscar going to try and make a change onto this fight. But unfortunately, Black Claw still fairly healthy. Card is still available. That Solar Storm ripping through from Chuck, doing absolutely gold plays. And this will be game for the side of Child Play, taking the win up against Tribe.
Yeah, you are absolutely spot on there. This game almost entirely just felt in control by the side of Child's Play nonstop. Tribe, they were able to make a good aggressive rotation very, very early on, stealing away a couple buffs, stealing away a couple healing camps. But Celeste, once she came online, that's when Child's Play really started to push the aggression. And, you know, those big 700 damage spikes hitting multiple of your teammates makes it so difficult to stay in a fight. And they don't have a lot of dive either. Typically, that's what we're going to see to counter the Celeste. Someone like a Black Feather or a Taka, who's able to get into that backline, do a lot of burst damage. And with only having the Koshka with an Aftershock and a Storm Crown, they just at no point were ever able to compete with the damage that Celeste was able to put out. The Koshka jumping in was basically right back out thanks to the tanky, bruisey front line that the side of Child's Play put together.
Yeah, that's very true, Gabe Vizzle. Unfortunately, we knew what he was trying to pull off, trying to go onto Chuck, trying to delete him instantaneously at the start of every fight. But, like, the tanky front lane was doing an absolutely awesome job, and also Shading Talent was he has a huge amount of CC. You got a stun, you got also that taunt on that trash talk that's so effective, forcing Koshka to stop focusing down on that Koshka, and that's what he pulled off extremely often in all of these fights. So that's what made the plays that, like, the draft right off the bat, yeah, the draft for Child Play just allowed them to have the Celeste stacking up that dragon. No, he didn't actually have Dragon's Eye. I'm mistaken. Shatterglass for Dragon's Eye. My bad. But like, he was just able to deal so much damage with never being harmed in any manner whatsoever. So, like, the draft here, yeah, made the win for me on the side of Child Play, and I did take then the win up against Tribe. There was not any opponent, like, they are the world champions, so that was a fairly nice move on their side.
Absolutely, Max, and that's going to be all for us for the Tribe versus Child's Play series. This is best of one. So your next matchup will